Hello everyone. So today's video is on privatization. So to understand the meaning of privatization, we need to understand the three terms denationalization, de-reservation and disinvestment, as these three words are very common in privatization. We will discuss all these terms in details. First of all, welcome you all to my channel Commerce Connector Learn Through Akanksha. So let's start with the meaning of privatization. There is a very famous definition given by the Professor D.R. Pensey that privatization is a process that reduces the involvement of the state or the public sector, or you can say the involvement of government in the nation's economic activity. Or in very simple words, we can say that privatization is a process that reduces the participation of public sector in economic activity, and the private sector gets more involved in economic activity or get more involved in ownership and control of public sectors. So what are the objectives behind privatization? Why government has adopted the policy of privatization? So the objectives were to improve the performance of public sector. We all know that at the time of announcing new economic policy, the public sectors are not performing very well, and this is one of the reason behind the announcement of the policy. That is why the main objective of the government is to improve the performance of public sector. Government is also facing the problem of debt, internal as well as external debt. So the next objective is to raise money from the sale of enterprises and to reduce foreign debt. To create a competitive atmosphere, the privatization leads to create the environment more competitive, to reduce the administrative burden from state. The other objective of privatization is to reducing the burden of the government or the state, to reduce economic burden of government and to reduce large amount of public resources that are blocked up in industries that are making losses. And the other objective is to promote industrial research and development for technology, extension, modernization and rationalization of industries. We all know that the privatization leads to the technology extension, modernization, and rationalization. So, the steps that are taken by the government to privatize the public sectors or for privatization are, the first one is de-reservation. So, under this, the sectors that were reserved for public sector were reduced to six, and presently only two sectors are reserved for the public sector. It means that the sphere of working for the private sector has been increased. The two sectors that were reserved for public sector are the atomic energy and railways. The next step is the disinvestment. So here the government started selling the part of their equity to the private sector. As you can see in this picture, this is public sector and the part of this is been transferred to the private sector. So we can say disinvestment is a process of selling off part of equity shares of public sector to private sector. The next step taken by the government is denationalization. The meaning of denationalization is very simple. It is the transfer of ownership. And here in this context, it is the transfer of ownership, government ownership to the private sector. You can assume it as government, public sector, and this is the private sector. The ownership gets transferred from the public sector to private sector. The another step is the memorandum. government has entered in MOU with public sector undertaking. In very simple words, Memorandum of Understanding is a formalized handshake with whom you want to work. So, why government has entered into MOU with the public sectors? So, the objectives were to improve the performance of public sector. As we know, the performance of public sectors are not satisfactory. To make industries more responsible, and we can say that it is an attempt by the government to maintain a balance between autonomy and accountability, means to maintain a balance between the responsibility and power. So that is all about privatization. In my next video, I will discuss about the globalization. So if you have any doubt or suggestions regarding this video, please comment. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.